following broadcast is a presentation of iRacing Motorsport Simulations live on PTRTV. We'd like to thank all of our partners for their support.
He may get the run on the outside, off of the back straightaway. 26 and Hallmark trying to go 3 wide. No one's with them.
Talking and bobbing and weaving down the back straightaway, looking for a way around. The 5 machine trying to take a look underneath the 3 car. He's gonna dive in down to the bottom. A huge move down to the bottom of the racetrack.
Back bumper. Can anything happen through the tri-oval? Walker Thomas to the inside. Here he comes to the outside. Side by side through the tri-oval. The 14. It's going to be a photo finish to the line. Who's going to get it? Walker Thomas.
Machine coming out of turn number 4. Tiller looking to go 3 wide, almost 4 wide. He's going to try to look for a gap. Bobbing and weaving for the lead down through the tri-oval.
Photo finish.
2 by 2. The 65 gets the win.
So cool, yeah. Nate, what are you working on at the moment?
So I'm working on the animation for the game. We're working on getting pit crews fully developed, and that involves a lot of moving parts. So I'm going in and making sure that each moving part can dovetail smoothly into the next one, so that when you pull in for a pit stop, it looks like the real thing, as opposed to a bunch of jumbled pieces that suddenly stop and then go and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's so cool, but why aren't you working on the time model? Nothing? Welcome, race fans, back to PTRTV on LSRTV. Back on a Monday night, bring you the Integrity Racing League. Tonight we are at the Michigan Speedway in the Irish Hills in Brooklyn, Michigan for 200 miles, which equates to, well, 100 laps around this 2-mile speedway. Again, for the Integrity Racing League, getting close to the playoffs, and these guys going to be doing their best to gain the best track position and get the best finish they can. Calling the shots tonight is myself, Corey Silva. I'm working the cameras, and I got Evan Black in the booth, and Joe Chris behind the scenes helping us out. And, well, Evan, Michigan Speedway, and we know that, well, we're going to be getting the new version of Michigan on iRacing, as that was announced very recently. So, well, this is going to kind of be the last race we're going to see here on this version of it. And, well, what can these guys expect tonight?
Very, very high speeds. We saw, I was watching qualifying, upwards of 210 miles an hour and only down to about 170 or so in the straight. So very high speeds and quite a bit of banking on this track. It's kind of a 1-lane, 2-lane racetrack though, which can make it pretty hard to pass, but we should be in for a pretty good race here.
Now we will hope that is the case, as qualifying's just about wrapping up here. So couple drivers still on the track. Adam de Blasio, remember last week at Watkins Glen, not one of his best performances, but he's going to have a lot more practice tonight, and, well, from what we could tell, he's going to have a pretty good starting position, so we'll see how that plays out. But, well, it looks like that is the changeover, so we'll bring to you the PTRTV starting lineup here from the Michigan Speedway for the Integrity Racing League. On the front row tonight, with a lap time of 38.142, well, Adam de Blasio back in a familiar spot at the front of the field. Tyler Herr outside of the front row. We have Nick Terabush in third. Guillermo Alvarez rolling off in P4. Rounding on the top 5 is Renato Postigio. Had a good run at Watkins Glen, but had a little connection issues. He'll hope for redemption tonight. Jacob Fife in 6th, and then Don Stevenson, your winner last week, and Joseph Tyson 8th.
We got another de Blasio, Eric de Blasio rolling off in 9th, Jay Heisman in 10th, Tom Wetmore in 11th, Jason Miller in 12th, Brandon Kirkman in 13th, Michael Duell in 14th, Bruce Ackerman 15th, and Lee Pierce in 16th.
In 17th is Neil Froelich, Todd Thomas in the 18th position. And 19th is William Dunn, Alan Rowell rolling off P20, Caleb Eisenhower 21st, Alan Pahari in 22nd, and then we have Samuel Nato and Carson Bechtel, in 24th.
And final 3 positions, we have Cody Smith, Kent Weatherall, and Randy Fash running the field in 27th.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a smaller field here. Usually we have fields upwards in the 30s tonight, but that's just fine. We will see what happens here tonight with this 27 car field at Michigan. You can see the weather conditions here tonight from the Speedway. 78 in the air, 103 on the track. Pretty much no humidity and, well, normal wind. We like to call that default conditions here on iRacing. And again, it's going to be a 100 lap race, 200 miles, full fuel load in these machines, Evan. So I think we kind of figured out from our own experience the other night that it's about 40 laps on a fuel load. So depending how green flag this goes, should be 2 pit stops. Really can't see a 1 stop going on without the help of a caution.
Yeah, it's going to be pretty much impossible to do a 1 stop here. Just because, like you said, Corey, you can go probably about 40 laps or so, so there's no way that you can really stretch it to 50, I don't think.
Yeah, we know from our experience here, we had a race with a caution through a lap number 8, and we had a 40-lap run to the end, and, well, some drivers ran out on the white flag lap, some drivers hyper-miled and tried to stretch it, other drivers like myself, well, I pitted and didn't work out in my favor, so that pretty much gives us definitive evidence that 40 laps, a lot of times we're not quite positive, but one thing we do know is these guys are going to be wanting taking tires at every opportunity, Evan. The tire fall off here is quite a bit, both in terms of the handling and on the stopwatch.
Yeah, you can feel the fall off after just like 1 or 2 laps out here, so pretty much every opportunity you're going to want to come down and take tires. But I think some of the guys further back around 15 to 20, if they've only ran 2 or 3 laps, they might stay out and try and take a gamble.
Yeah, the track position here is vital with, as Evan said, until the groove wears in and maybe we get a little bit of 2-lane racing going on. It's going to be difficult to pass, especially in 1 and 2, really 1 line, 3 and 4. You may be able to pull off some things and try to make your moves on that high groove and bog the guy down off of 4. That's something that we will watch out for, but we're coming through corners number 3 and 4 here. Again, PTRTV's coverage on LSRTV of the Integrity Racing League, the Michigan 200. Buckle them belts tight and let's get ready for a night of action. Pace car is going to take that hard left turn into pit lane, waiting for de Blasio to get on the loud pedal. Waiting. Late in the box, he's going to go. And green flag in the air. We're racing at Michigan.
Pretty even starts by the front row. De Blasio with a slight edge as they get ready to go down into turn 1, but they're still going to be side by side, so that 48 not quite able to clear. Now he does clear that 19 for the lead, and he's out there in the 3rd lane already. I kind of thought he'd be down in the 2nd lane. There you can see him starting to come down on corner exit, but you can see they're side by side for 2nd.
Yes, he is. They're side by side for what is now 3rd as Nick Terabush in that number 4 machine. He's looking to the inside of Alvarez as Herr has already pulled in front and cleared for the 2nd position. So Terabush is going to try to get that run on the bottom, and Alvarez will try to salvage the run up top off of 4 and try to side draft him down the front straightaway. He will not be able to, as Terabush will clear, or will he? Looks like Terabush will clear, but behind them, they're still 2 by 2.
Okay, cuz round in 1-2.
Oh, yes, that is
Bruce
the
Ackerman, big wreck.
That is the big one. Alan Rowell. We have the 51 of Caleb Eisenhower. Caution flag on the speedway.
That started with Bruce Ackerman and Todd Thomas battling for the 15th position.
Yeah, we'll go back a little bit further, try to get a better sight of that from the chopper cam. You can see end into turn number 1, the 78 into the 92. Tight quarters racing, Neil Froelich, William Dunn, 43, 62. All these drivers getting involved in this opening melee here in corner number, where were we? Corner number 1 and 2, rather. So quickly to the attention of the iRacing pace car, we will fall. Onto the back straightaway, de Blasio will get them all situated, and Evan, I mean, we're only a couple laps in. Is there need to, I mean, I'm sure people will, but do you need to pit right now?
I don't think you really need to, because they only made it about a lap or a lap in maybe 2 corners. I don't think we'll see anyone up front come to pit road, but like I said, guys are in 15th, 20th. They might come down and just try and get a little bit fresher tires to try and get an advantage on these guys.
I mean,
but we'll see here, as pits should be open here. We'll see if anyone does decide to come down.
So you never know how these races will play out. You never quite know if this is going to be the last run to the end. You never know. This could be a fuel mileage setup. Maybe having 2 extra laps of fuel in that tank could mean something at the end, but doesn't appear that it's going to draw any of the front runners into the pits. So
looks like Don Stevenson coming down.
Yeah, Stevenson from the 11th spot, and he will be leading the charge down behind him. So pretty much him on back. So about top 11 on the speedway. Everybody else comes to the attention of their crews, and 3 drivers in that wreck seem to have rather significant damage, so they will be getting that fixed. Not sure if they will be able to remain on the speedway. So Evan, we didn't get to update the people on the point standings, as we had a little bit of late start to tonight's coverage. So leading the standings, as we've said many a time, is Adam de Blasio, who's kind of pulling off the Harvick this season. He's won, well, actually, has an even better record than Harvick. He's on his 9th win of the season out of 22 races. He's been in the top 5 18 out of 22. He's been in the top 10 19 out of 22. So really, that 48 is, I mean, he's Jimmy Johnson back in his heyday in the late 2010 era, the early 2010 era rather. He is just out to lunch all over this field, up by 160 points.
Yeah, that's going to be very tough for Don Stevenson, who's in second, to get up there and do anything before. I believe you said there are playoffs in this series, Corey?
Yep, this series is pretty much a carbon clone of the real-life Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series, so playoffs will be starting, well, after Indianapolis, which is mid-September.
The issue for de Blasio is he's got 160-point lead, but once the playoffs start, that's not going to do much, if anything, for him.
No, it will not. He'll have his playoff points, which will, I'm assuming, carry him over into those positions up front. Well, a further position in front of round 1, but it's not obviously all that hard work is just going to be reset. He'll have a little bit of an advantage, but not nearly what he has now. But here we are lined up behind the pace car yet again, getting ready to go for the restart, or pretty much the initial start, as we really never even got going. We'll go green on lap number 6.
I'm going to be interested to see what the tires do for these guys that just pitted. It looks like the first guy on 4 tires is Sam Nato in the 12th position. So I'll be interested to see if that kind of helps him get up through the field any, or if it just kind of evens out.
Yeah, as you said, Evan, I'm not quite on the side to believe that it's going to do too much for him, but obviously we'll find that out and see if that does make any difference. But I'm assuming these guys up front will be plenty fine on those tires, but we'll find out in half of a lap. We're going to get restacked up here. De Blasio to the inside, her to the outside. We have Tarabush and Alvarez row 2. Fife and Tice in the 5th and 6th position. See which lane prevails here. Will De Blasio go as early in the box? Will he go later in the box? We'll find out here. It's got to remember, they do have the ability to choose when they go. As soon as that pace car is in, it's up to the leader's discretion when he goes in the box. The opportunity is set now, and there he goes much earlier in the box that time. There goes de Blasio, and 19 of her got a good run. Tarabush did not get going to the inside.
Her's going to clear for that 2nd position. Right now the battle is for 3rd, with Tarabush and Alvarez going down side by side into 1 and 2. And I think that 2nd lane is kind of going to prevail. Actually, it looks like the 3rd lane with Alvarez getting a pretty good run there through 1 and 2. We'll see if he can keep that up down the back stretch. It looks like he's just about clear, but not quite as they go down into 3 and 4. And Alvarez now clear. We'll see if that 4th Tarabush can fight back.
Yeah, the outside at Michigan, you're not going to see drivers down on that white line here at Michigan. It is not as banked as much there. Michigan's kind of progressively banked in a secret way. They don't really talk about it, but you can't hold the car down there with that lack of banking. So you want to be in the 2nd groove, but if you can run that 3rd groove and pinch the guy down, you're going to be even better off. You'll really bog him down. That's what the 83 is doing. Tarabush is blocked down there. Here comes Fife trying to squeeze to the outside on the back straightaway. He has Joseph Tice behind him. A little bit of draft comes into play here at Michigan too, down the back straightaway into 3.
Going down into 3 and 4 now. Let's see if 5 can use that outside lane to his advantage. Does not look like he's going to be able to through 3 and 4. So Terrabush is going to clear for that 4th position now. But 5, he's still trying to get by him. He got a pretty good run out of turn 4, running that higher lane. We'll see where he decides to go here in 1 and 2. Trying to take a look underneath them now on his inside, and Terrabush way high up there in the 4th lane. That is not where you want to be here at Michigan.
Yeah, the Larson lane isn't quite effective here at Michigan. I don't think he ran it intentionally.
There are cars around out of 2.
Yep.
Got another crash.
That is the 06 of Jay Heisman. I believe that's the 43 of William Dunn. He's lost the front of that machine. So let's go back here on the replay and find out what happened to cause the 2nd caution of tonight. This looks like, I think I'm going to follow William Dunn.
It all started ahead of him with Michael Duell and Eric de Blasio. They got a little bit tangled up.
Yeah, you can see Don Stevenson getting loose on, yeah, Heisman and the 43. Significant contact. And what was the cause of that again, just so we can get a better look at it?
It all started with Michael Duell and Eric de Blasio. They kind of got together, and that just caused a checkup for everyone behind them, and there's even more contacts.
Yeah, here we go. Now we are focused on the right action right now. You can see in the corner number 1 and 2, Heisman to the 11 into the 88, gets some door there. The 22 had nowhere to go. The 06 gets into the 47. And then behind that, you can see the couple drivers involved, but pace car is out for the 2nd time tonight. Well, 3rd if you count the pace lap, but I would assume now that pit stops may be a little bit more populated this time by, as now they've run about 3 to 4 green flag laps. So let's see if that draws any of the leaders into pit lane, and looks like that is a yes.
It's kind of a mixed bag. I see 2 guys staying out here, the 36 of Fife and Tom Wetmore, and that's pretty much it. See another guy further back staying out. He might be a lap down. Yeah, so 2 lead lap guys staying out.
Well, what do you think, Evan? I don't think I'd want to be them right now.
Yeah, 10 lap old tires. Yeah, only probably about 3 or 4 of them were green, but still, I don't think that's going to work out too well for them.
Yeah, so
but we'll see.
Yeah, that's all we can do. And again, we got some information from iRacing as we are on week number 10 at, well, if you're watching this live, this is week number 10 in the iRacing season of 12. So we have a couple more weeks, and we have the next build. They've announced that the updated rescan of Michigan will be made available free to all members who've already owned this version of Michigan, and this current version of Michigan will be free to those who are maybe new to the service and don't have it at all. So Evan, I mean, obviously we don't know. We've watched races in real life. We've never obviously driven on it in iRacing, but what do you think other than speed? Do you think it's going to drive any differently?
It's going to drive a little bit differently because it's going to have a lot more grip than this track does and probably a little bit less bumpy, but I think it's probably still going to be kind of just a 1-2 lane, because if you watch in real life, you're kind of just running that 2nd lane. So I think the racing will be fairly similar. It'll just be at a way higher pace.
Yeah, and I mean, something that has surprised me, Evan, and I don't know if it surprises you as well, but in the real world, usually when we see repaves in the real world, and usually the first 3 to 4 years at a new track, they're never anything that great. The track has too much grip. It surprised me here at Michigan watching the real race yesterday that this track really hasn't given up grip, even in its, what, 60-year repave now? They really have not moved the groove up here.
Yeah, this track, same as I think it's Charlotte, that's a pretty old repave on it, and it still hasn't really lost too much grip, so I really don't know why some tracks do and some don't, because you can already see with like Kentucky, they're already starting to kind of move up, and I think Larson was making the 3rd lane work there a few weeks ago, so, and that's only a 3-year-old repave, I think.
Yeah, and this is obviously Michigan. This track it is abused to a lot of the elements with snow and hard winters, a lot of rain, and kind of everything involved, so well, maybe the iRacing version will race better than the real version, who knows? But we're also going to be getting Kokomo for the dirt fans out there, and some new rallycross content, so iRacing is real.
And ZL1.
That is too. Finally, we will have the option to for some leagues, I think they're going to be keeping the SS in, so you'll probably see a combination of SS and Camaros in the iRacing leagues, potentially this one as well, because it will be paid content for those who are have had it for more than 2 years. But iRacing really kicking it into high gear with their content releases and a whole ton of behind-the-scenes fixes and upgrades, so a really good time to be an iRacing member. Day-night transitions right around the corner, and well, I know I am looking forward to doing a Coke 600. I am looking forward to doing a 24 Hours of Daytona with the full day-night transition changes, and again, really good time to be on iRacing.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to when we get that new Michigan, because I kind of suck at the current one, so hopefully it'll be better at the new one.
And Evan, when we have our Daytona 24, I'm not driving the twilight hours. You can do that. If iRacing has, if they even include the sun glare and all that stuff, I am not driving at sunset. That could be all you.
Well, the issue for you is sunset is the main time that you can drive.
Yeah, so I guess we'll call that a rip on my end, but enough waffling around. We are on one to go, and again, we had a whole bunch of pit stops, but 2 drivers that did not stop. Well, they're the 2 drivers leading the field right now. Jacob Fife in the 36 to the inside, Tom Wetmore in the 42 to the outside of the speedway right now. So remember, we've run only about 4 green flag laps of the 12 completed thus far, so the tires aren't overly aged, but they definitely are not as fresh as they could be, so maybe some speed loss, maybe some disadvantage. We'll find out. Down the back straightaway here at Michigan, we're going to take lap number 13. Jacob Fife, see what he can do, and let's get going this time.
Coming through 3 and 4 now is, like we've said before, the top 2 have not pitted this entire race. All 12 laps of it, they have stayed out, so be interested to see if they can stay up there or how far they'll drop back. But coming out of turn 4 now, waiting for the pace car to pull down onto the pit road. And then once it does, it'll be in Jacob Fife's hand, as there goes the pace car now, waiting for Fife to get this back underway. And we'll see here, there goes Fife, and we are back underway at Michigan.
Yeah, Fife on the loud pedal early in the zone there, trying to get whatever advantage he can get. That is about 0.2 of a second as we go up through the gears here down the front straightaway into corner number 1. See, he's out to about 1/4 of a second over Wetmore. Wetmore has de Blasio on those fresher tires right behind him. De Blasio trying to take full advantage of them. Digs to the inside on the back straightaway, side by side for the 2nd spot.
De Blasio on those fresh tires, making that inside lane work down here into turn 3, and he's already cleared him. Now Tyler Hurt trying to get to that 3rd position by the 42 of Tom Wetmore. We'll see here if De Blasio can catch up and get by to Jacob Fife. Doesn't have too far to go to get there, only about half a car length separating them now to cross the start-finish line. We'll see down into 1 and 2 if De Blasio can get by him here, or if he'll be down in 3 and 4.
You can see he already has the speed. He got the draft down the straightaway there. Nearly cut off the nose of the 19 to de Blasio as he cut to the inside, but he did cut to the inside of the leader. So now they're going to be drag racing down the back straightaway here. De Blasio doesn't quite have the run. Will he sail it off into 3? Pretty sure he's going to do so. There he goes. Driving in there, washes up the track just a little bit off the gas. 36 is going to try to hang on there on the outside. I don't think he'll be able to. Here comes Her behind him.
De Blasio still not clear for the lead. It's going to be close at the stripe, but give it to De Blasio. Back in the lead here, down into 1 and 2. We'll see if he can clear that 36 here. Still not able to do it. Jacob Fife is doing a really nice job up in that 3rd lane. He's pinched him down, getting right on his quarter panel, and it's working for him as De Blasio still has not cleared, and Fife going for the side draft. He's actually gaining on him down and back.
Yeah, nearly some contact there off of 2, whether intentional or not. But Fife, the longer he can hang on, the more he is hindering the tires of that 48. But I think he's finally hit his breaking point. He's lost the lead. 48 has cleared. So now Fife will try to hang on to 2nd. Tyler Her underneath him as De Blasio sole possession of the lead.
But a bump draft there from the 36 to 48 there, entering the corner, I think. As still side by side for 2nd out of turn 2. Fife, he's doing better than I kind of thought he would on those older tires, as he is still hanging on in that battle for 2nd, as Her still is not quite clear, just barely hanging on his right quarter panel, and there Her goes, clears him now, and Alvarez is going to clear as well for the 3rd position. So Jacob Fife now back to 4th, and Joseph Tyus going by for 5th now.
Yeah, so right now, 36 is almost feeling like he's on a super speedway now. He's out getting freight train there on that outside. Lost 4 spots. He'll fall back in line to 5th, but he does have Brandon Kirkman right behind him. Well, it looks like he's not done. 36 trying to dig underneath Tice. Tice kind of using upper groove there. Got a little bit of a speed advantage from that off of corner number 2 down the back chute. Here he comes, and here comes Alvarez stalking the back of Tyler Hurd in the 19.
Alvarez had a good run down the backstretch, got right to the back bumper of that 19 machine, and you can see here through 3 and 4 how close he gets to that bumper of that 19 of Tyler Hurd. And out of 4, we'll see if he can get the run and try and make a move. He's going to try and look to the outside. I don't think he has enough of a run to get there, but he's going to be close. We'll see if he tries to dive it down into 1 and 2. Oh, he tried to dive it down in there. I don't think he really meant to drive it in that much. He about clipped the back bumper of that 19. That was a little bit close there.
Yes, it was, and these guys are not losing that number 48. They are staying right in his tire tracks as we go down the back straightaway. They're only 0.2 of a second back as here comes Alvarez digging for P2 to that inside. Her all the way up there in that groove that is not quite rubbered in yet. But, well, hey, he might make it work. He might get the momentum off of corner number 4 doing that. Well, not quite enough, so now move Alvarez into P3. Well, P2 rather. Yeah,
P2. We'll see if Alvarez can track down de Blasio. It's going to be hard to do with the season Adam has had so far, so we'll see if he can try and do it. Going down into 1 and 2, he gained a little bit there through the center, but he gained quite a bit there through 1 and 2 as well.
It looks like having those tires on that number 36. Well, oh, here we go. Car all the way to the inside. That's Don Stevenson all the way.
And he kept it off the wall.
Michigan has an absolute buku amount of runoff pavement down there, and Stevenson used every last bit of it. We'll go on replay with him. Actually, it looks like he may have had some contacts. We'll back up to the the chopper cam, and off of 2, I think he came up into the 28 there. That's Lee Pierce, and again, he used every last bit of runoff there to the inside. And he doesn't have track position, but he still has a car in decent shape. What I was getting to before that, Evan, is the tires on that 36 are definitely showing their age there, although it's only a couple extra laps. He's now back to 8th, Fife back to 9th now as Renato Postigio will take that look to the inside in that number 69. And what is on that car today? It was emojis last week. What is that number 69, Evan?
Poop emojis. It's even more emojis.
No, I usually
don't.
But
all the same ones.
I usually never use this camera on a broadcast because I don't like it, but just for the sake of seeing this a little close, yeah, it is a poop emoji car. So, well, that's a first. But regardless, the 69 poop car is in the 8th spot. I don't know if I'm supposed to say that on the broadcast or not, but it's been said. Caleb Eisenhower right behind Jacob Fife in the number 51 machine goes to the top of the racetrack as 36 trying to get under the 69. That's going to open the door for Alan Pahari in the 29 looking to the inside. That battle is still going on. Trying to get to the outside of Fife is the 51 of Eisenhower, trying to get the arc on the outside in turn 1. These guys really moving up the racetrack. It's definitely working for the 51. He's going to get to the right rear as the 36 wiggles off of 2. Eisenhower will use that to his advantage, and he should be able to clear entering 3. But no, Fife's not going down without a fight.
Yeah, these guys are doing a really nice job of moving this lane up, and as Fife gets really loose there out of turn 4, he's going to lose the spot to the 51 and the 29, now getting to his outside down the front straightaway. It kind of seemed to me like in my race last week, or whenever me and Corey did that Michigan race, if you were really loose on corner exit, if you kind of went up there to the 4th lane, that really helped it, as Tom Wetmore going around in turn 1 and 2. There's the caution for that.
Remember, Wetmore was the other driver to not pit on that last caution. Him and Fife stayed out. See, oh, he just got hit in the left rear quarter panel by the 28 machine, it appeared.
I think that might have just been like the difference in tires. The 28 could just drive it in that much deeper than the 42 having those fresher tires than him.
On replay with Lee Pierce, you can see Pierce is down behind by about a car length. Yeah, either one of them drove it in deep or one of them slowed up a little early. Hard to tell, but regardless, it was contact, and it'll put us under the 3rd caution of the night.
But what I was saying before that caution came out, in the race I did here, I noticed that if you're a little loose on corner exit, struggling to get the power down, if you kind of moved up a little bit, it kind of helped you to get the power down a little bit better and get a better run on corner exits, especially after 15, 20 laps.
Yeah, you kind of wanted to straighten out the corner as much as possible. So running up that high in the center of the corner, that gives you the opportunity to cut down low on exit, and it kind of makes the exit of the corner straighter. So when you're loose, the less amount of wheel you have to crank into it, well, the better chance you have of not looping that thing around, which it does become a lot more difficult as this race progresses. But we're going to come off of 4, and after that run, I think without a doubt everyone will be down changing those tires, and here we come down to the attention of their pit crews. Remember, we've seen some times before. We saw last week Jacob Fife had the race well in his grasp, and pit road ended up costing him the event. So that is a possibility to happen. These guys have to stop in their stall smoothly, not overshoot it, because that will cost them valuable track position. Looks like everyone, at least for the camera we're on, did a good job. Someone driving through the pits. Yeah, that's a 17 of Neil Froelich, just goes straight through the pits.
As well as Ken Weatherall going through the pits.
But that will still give the 48 the win off of pit lane. But 4 drivers still on the speedway for various reasons. Top 17 in the 70 stayed on the, well, they drove through the stalls. 18 in the 76 stayed on the speedway. But we're going to go side by side briefly here, and we'll be back with you for the restart. So stay with us here, PTRTV on LSRTV.
Red Bull GRCs are now available on iRacing. I personally put my blood, sweat, and tears into this thing, developing the cars, the tracks, the dirt, making sure it is authentic as possible, and I really think you guys are going to love it. The best part is that this 600 horsepower Volkswagen Beetle is free to all members. So get signed up now and come race me online.
I want to leap over buildings, want to fly over the shores, faster than a lightning flash, rushing through the cool night air. Oh, oh, oh. So start ignition, count to 0. I just wanna be a superhero.
Hey, what's up guys? Scott Speed here at the iRacing headquarters. Some exciting news about the upcoming Rallycross World Championship. They've got a wild card entry, and yours truly is gonna get that spot. See you guys out on the track.
So start ignition, count
And welcome back to PTRTV on LSRTV, here for the Integrity Racing League Michigan 200 at, well, Michigan. And coming through 3 and 4 now under the pace car. And the leader is Michael Duell, who stayed out. Adam de Blasio will be in second. And I noticed Michael Duell taking that outside lane. That's the first time tonight we've seen someone do that.
He's been out for 15 lap tires, so while this is going to be it's going to be interesting to see what he can do, and well, he's going to go as early as possible. It's still got some wheel spin in the process. Green flag back in the air, but here comes Adam de Blasio. Before we even get to the line, he's already making a move for the lead.
De Blasio just barely on the inside of that 88. Let's go down into turn 1. We'll see if that 48 can make the bottom work, and well, yeah, he's going to. And top 3 clear of that 88 of Duell already. And it's going to be close here for the 5 and 83. Almost a 3 wide action. Maybe going to go 3 wide here. No, not quite. Just going to stay 2 wide for now. But Michael Duell is dropping back.
Yeah, the 83 of Alvarez really had to slow down there through the exit of turn 2. He lost his momentum because he had to hit the brakes to avoid the 88. The 88 is just dropping through the field right now. He is a brick off a skyscraper. He is just falling fast all the way out of the top 10. Here comes Jacob Fife by him, but let's go back up front, and that is the number 48, Adam Blasio, but now Joseph Tice in sole possession of P2, Tyler Herr in 3rd. A little bit of a gap back to Kirkman, Alvarez, and Nato. That is 4th, 5th, and 6th.
Yeah, Joseph Tice up in 2nd now, like you said, Corey. He started in 8th, so pretty good improvement after about 28 laps or so. We'll see if Tice can do anything with our leader, de Blasio, which so far under green, no one's been able to get by him.
Not yet, and well, not much of a surprise because we know how he is. He's just so dominant in this league, and here comes Alvarez just a little bit behind this battle. Alvarez to the inside of Kirkman, dives in on down there. Kirkman all the way up in the 3rd groove. See if he gets that bite off corner number 2. I think he's gonna get it, and kind of got the door shut on him by Alvarez, but he still has momentum. The 22 to the inside of Nato. He'll take that advantage, take that draft to the inside, and here he comes with a look inside Alvarez yet again in 3, but Alvarez has that momentum built up on the outside. Will the 5 be able to hook that bottom and keep his momentum built up off of 4?
Looks like Alvarez is going to clear for that 4th position now. And now Brandon Kirkman has the 22 of Sam Nato on his outside as he ready to go down into turns number 1 and 2. And we'll see if Nato can make the outside lane work. It looks like right now Kirkman's getting a pretty good run, but Nato pinching him down out of turn 2. That's going to allow him to clear for the 5th position. So Brandon Kirkman now back to 6th.
Yeah, we can already see here as everyone zooms down here at Michigan, over 200 miles an hour entering each set of turns here, that we are starting to develop the groove. That groove is encompassing that 2nd lane because, as I said earlier, the inside is not really raceable here, so the 2nd lane's where you want to be, but later in the race and even in this 100-lap affair tonight, they will want to move up. Probably to the 2nd lane, as Evan said, maybe even the 3rd lane. Try to find that cooler pavement, try to find that little bit of extra grip, especially as these tires wear down. Nick Terabush in that pink machine, Jacob Fife trying to work his way back up. We know Fife has a fast car. He's going to be in 10th. He's trying to look for 9th.
We seem to be pretty hard to pass here tonight, and we'll see if Fife can complete that pass. It's going to be close. We'll see if Nick Terabush can get the run out of turn 4. He's going to get a run. I don't think it's going to be enough to get back to his outside. It's going to be kind of close, but I think Fife will be able to hold on to that position, at least for now, as they have Caleb Eisenhower in front of them, who has a little bit of right rear damage on that machine. And I wonder if that's hurting him much. It doesn't really seem like it, as he is running in 8th, so we'll see if that affects him any here, if Fife and the 4 can get by him.
Yeah, it looks like his spoiler is okay, which is the crucial part. Just a little bit of cosmetic damage. Obviously, someone's gotten to the back of him at one point in the race, but we can see here from his camera a little bit further up, there is a battle going on. Her to the inside of Tice off of 4. Again, both lanes, especially in a passing scenario, seem to be pretty equal, so it is hard to complete these passes, but Her definitely seems to be the faster of the 2 vehicles as we dive off into corner number 1. 25 trying to pinch Her down. He's doing that successfully as they're side by side behind him as well. Big wiggle from the 25 off of 2. That may be what the 19 needed. Actually, it wasn't. He didn't lose too much time. Still door-to-door in 3.
Tice was going to clear him down the back, but once he got loose, he lost all his momentum there. So, but here through 3 and 4, you can see Tice pinching him down once again. That's allowing him to gain a little bit of time here through 3 and 4 at the stripe. I believe it will be Tyler Herr. But we'll see as they go down into 1 and 2 if Tice can make that third lane work. He's going to try to hurt just about clear, but 25 Tice getting run through the center of the corner. Pinched him down once again on exit, trying to not get loose here. And pretty even down the backstretch, but Tice got a better run, I think.
Man, Tice isn't... The thing for Tice right now is he does hang on to the spot. He's not really doing much to hurt his car when he's running that lane, but that 19 is really having to crank that wheel and fight that car to stay down low. So it really does hurt the guy to the inside if he's stuck down there lap after lap. So things do settle out in the top 10, everybody single file. Let's see if there's anything going on back in the pack. You can see everyone's kind of getting into their own little bubbles right now. Field is spreading out here, lap 36 in the books. We still do have 22 drivers on the lead lap. Kent Weatherall being the last one of those, but Michael Duell, remember, he stayed out. He was the leader on the restart, and he's all the way back to second to last on the lead lap. 21st position, 12 seconds back.
Yeah, staying out does not seem like it's the right call for him, but we got a battle going on for 4th with Sam Nato and Guillermo Alvarez. Alvarez up there in that outside lane, trying to hold on to that position, as I believe Nato is trying to get by him here now through 1 and 2. I think Alvarez will be able to clear him here down the back with that momentum from the high side. Yes, he will. So Nato's going to have to try again here in 3 and 4, but I don't think he has enough of a run.
Yeah, it doesn't appear that that's the case. He didn't get the run off of 2 and to shoot him down the back straightaway, so he falls back in line. But here he comes with the look to the inside. 83 washes up the track just a little bit too much as Herr trying to get by Tice still. You could see him in the long shot wiggling there off of 4. This is the point in the run where you really start to lose those tires and kind of the skill level and whoever saves their stuff better. This is about the point in the run, Evan, right around lap 13, lap 15, where you really can tell who has that long run car.
Which now that things are starting to get a little bit more spread out, I think this run could go for a while here. So when do you think we'll start to see some guys coming down the road? It's going to be at least probably, what, 20 laps or so, 25 laps before they feel like they're comfortable to make it on fuel?
Yeah, you figure like lap 13, so that puts us lap 25. We go 40. That puts us lap 65, so at that point, Evan, that's a one-stop race. So we know we can go lap 65 to lap 100. So really, the earliest the window would open is lap 60. So we still have, to our watch, if this stays green, about 20 more laps on the racetrack.
Which, even with it being 40 laps to the end, that's going to be pretty close, I think, to even make it on fuel.
But we should have, and like I said, we should be able to go to 65. So 60 to 65 it's a very small window. It's only a 5-lap gap, but it is on the table to still make this race on one stop. But that is, if you do it on one stop, you may see some drivers, maybe they come in on lap 50 and try to split the difference. I don't think it's going to work from my experience, but you may see some drivers try it. I know from personal experience that it did not work.
Enough time.
Yeah, from my personal experience, it did not work. Even drivers backing off the pace by 2 seconds a lap still were able to hold off enough time for me that I was not able to get back around the track and repass them for the end of the race. So I wouldn't be one to suggest that strategy, but if other drivers haven't practiced their long runs, we may see someone try it. As the racing is heating up at the latter end of the top 10, we saw Brandon Kirkman and Jacob Fife still digging. That is for the 7th and 8th position. We have Nick Tarabush and Caleb Eisenhower 9th and 10th. Big wiggle from the 5. He'll fall to the inside of the track, allowing the 36, the 4, and potentially the 51 to get by to the top side.
Yeah, looks like Kirkman is getting pretty loose these last few laps. I see him having to wheel that car and save that car quite a bit, so that's definitely not going to help his time. As now Caleb Eisenhower trying to get to his outside down the front stretch there. He gets to his door now. And that's going to move Kirkman back to 10th if Eisenhower can get by him, which he should be able to down here in 1 and 2. I think now he does kind of have the preferred passing lane. I think you want to kind of be out there in that 3rd lane to pass, but actually Kirkman doing a really nice job in that 2nd lane to get by him.
You can see here on his dash, which a couple updates ago we activated some of the information on it. You can see a 40.93, which that's 2.3 seconds off of his best lap. So that just shows the pace fall off here, about 20 laps into this run that we are on. Big wiggle to the inside. Who was that? That light blue car. That was Eisenhower. That was Eisenhower. Very good save. Let's go on board with him. See what happened from that number 51 perspective. See, he's off of 4 and he's trying to keep. Oh, he made contact with the 5 and. Not an easy save, especially on these older tires, but kudos to him. He will continue, although with a little worse track position. He's still running in 11th. Fife and Postigio side by side for 6th.
Looks like Postigio will clear him here down the front stretch. We'll see if Fife can try and get a good run through 1 and 2 and maybe fight back and trying to get back underneath that 69 Postigio, going down into 1 and 2, and Postigio out there kind of in the 4th lane. I didn't really think he'd want to run that high, but it worked for him. You can see that way better run. He got there around a 2 and down and back.
Yeah, he did make it work, at least enough for the time being. We'll see if enough persistence from the 36 will open the door for him to complete the pass down low. Typically, even running that upper lane when you are starting to lose control of the car, you're more prone to mistakes and slide the nose, which will still even slow you down. So we'll see if that happens. Fife will get it at the line, but they're still going to drag race door to door, entering corner number 1. Fife is going to wash up the track. That's going to force the 69 up the track and into the fence. Don't think that was intentional. 36 just didn't nail his corner entry there. The 69 got the worst end of the stick. He'll fall back to the 8th position as Nick Tarabush will get back by in the 4 machine.
I don't know if there was, it looked like there might have been a little bit of contact there. It was not much, but there was a little bit. That's
all it takes. Corner entry is the most sensitive part of the corners, at least in my opinion. You try to bump someone into corner entry, you're good, but in any side of the vehicle, it's going to upset them. But that is that, and it's lap number 46. Adam de Blasio has pulled out by about half of a second over Joseph Tice. So de Blasio doing what he does best, which is, well, start dominating these races. Tyler Herr has had a couple opportunities to get by that 25, but hasn't been able to fulfill it and stay in, well, to complete the passes. So he still is in 3rd. Guillermo Alvarez in 4th, and Samuel Nato rounding out the top 5.
Tess got loose out of 4. That's going to give Tyler Herr the inside down the front stretch, and he's going to clear him there, so Tyler Herr finally able to get by that 25.
Now, does he have enough tire? Does he have enough speed in that 19? He now has 3/4 of a second he needs to eliminate if he wants to get to the back bumper of that number 48 of Adam de Blasio. De Blasio has been up front for 38 of the 47 laps. The only ones he really didn't lead were under caution, and the couple times that I think Fife stayed out on older tires, he led a couple laps. So really, de Blasio has been in sole commission of the lead in this race. And well, Evan, if he wins tonight, and we're not writing the trophy, but just for the sake of statistics, this will be his 10th win of the season
in 23 races.
That's not 50%, but it is pretty damn well close to it, which is absolutely asinine to say. But again, here comes some battles going on ladder into the top 10s where all the activity seems to be. 69 dropping through the field. Perhaps a little bit of damage because of that contact thrown off the handling and speed in that 69 machine. Kirkman to the inside. Jason Miller to the inside of Postigio as well, a guy we haven't talked about tonight, that 73 machine. But Postigio trying to hang on the upper groove. Off of 4, looks like he may have wiggled again. So 73 should be able to clear. 73 is actually going to look underneath the 5 as well.
Now will Miller be able to get that by that 5 of Kirkman as they go down into 1 and 2. Kirkman up there kind of in the 4th lane. We'll see if that works out for him here. It looks like it will on corner exit. You can see that just a huge run he's already starting to get. But it kind of evened out as they got out of the corner and down the backstretch. But still, looks like Kirkman not going to be able to clear, but he does have a nose ahead.
Yes, he is, and here he comes with it. He sails it off in there into 3 in an attempt to, well, slide job. Don't want to steal the quote there, but he does a little bit of a dive on into the corner. Will he be able to slam the door? Will he shut the door on Kirkman? He won't do either of those two things. He had the opportunity to complete the pass. He did leave the door open for the 5. The 5 will try to take advantage of that and play some defense and some offense at the same time. Try to get that spot back. Can Kirkman get the run up top? And, well, he's going to try, but finally the 73 will clear.
So Jason Miller now up to the 8th position.
And that is halfway. What is it, Evan? Cross flags?
Yes,
I always want to say popsicle sticks, but that's not.
That's 2 to go.
All right. Cross flags in the air as the 48 will complete lap number 50. And we do have a battle for second again. Tice lost a spot to her, and, well, he's going for it back now as we sail off into 1 and 2. Her very high on the speedway. That'll give the 25 the opportunity to clear. 19 needs to keep it out of the wall. Easier said than done. Really had to check up. That allows Alvarez to take the spot, and her goes from 2nd to 4th in 1 corner.
Yeah, there just is no grip up in that very top lane. You saw he got tight, started pushing up to the wall, and then on corner exit he got loose. So there was just no grip up there.
So let's take this opportunity, Evan. Let's give you a mid-race break here. PTRTV on LSRTV. We've completed 51 laps. We've had 4 lead changes. We've had 3 cautions for 8 laps. Adam de Blasio, and, well, not much of a surprise to anybody, has been the dominant factor here tonight. Leading this race, has been out front for 43 laps. We'll go through the field. Joseph Tice is in 2nd. Guillermo Alvarez is in 3rd. Tyler Herr is in 4th. Samuel Nieto is in 5th. Jacob Fife in 6th. Nick Terabush running in 7th. Jason Miller in 8th. And we have Brandon Kirkman and Renato Postillo running out the top 10.
Caleb Eisenhower currently running in the 11th position. Don Stevenson, last week's winner at the Glen, in the 12th position. Tom Wetmore in 13th. Eric de Blasio in 14th. Lee Pierce currently in the 15th position. Alan Pahari in the 16th position. Randy Fayash in 17th. William Dunn in 18th. Neil Frolich in 19th. And Jay Heisman in 20th.
All right, Michael Duell in 21st. We have Kent Wetherill in 22nd. That is the last driver on the lead lap. Only driver in the field that is 1 lap down is Bruce Ackerman in 23rd. You can see heavy damage to his machine. He was involved in the first caution of the race. We have Alan Roll on track. He is 3 laps down again with that heavy damage as well. And Cody Smith 4 laps down. We have Carson Bechtel and Todd Thomas with serious repairs behind the wall.
Yeah, they were just sitting on pit road. I don't know if they're gonna try and get that guy out on track, because
Todd Thomas has been in the pits for 44 minutes, so I'm gonna take some serious assumption that he's not getting on the track. But Bechtel has been in the pits for about 5 minutes, so we're unsure about him. But Evan, we are getting to the window I talked about. We'll pull up the stints graphic here right now. You can see the stint since the last stop. They've been out on the racetrack for about 29, 30 laps this time by. We know the absolute stretch end of the pit window is about 40 to 41 laps. So they need to get to lap 60 to open the door. They should be able to run to lap 65. So these guys should be preparing for what could and should be the final stop.
I think if you're a guy like Joseph Tice or Alvarez, if de Blasio does not pit as soon as the window opens, you pit right then. But if de Blasio comes down pit road right around lap 60, as soon as the window opens, you try and stay out those extra 5 laps or so. Just do something different than him to try and get by him, because right now it looks like it's kind of de Blasio's race to lose.
And Evan, but one thing we need to remember from our race that we had was, even that 40-lap run to the end we had, it was not, to quote, balls to the walls in that race. You had to save fuel. So driving 100%, that window may be more like a 37-lap race. So,
but didn't we go about 45 laps to the end?
I don't remember. You told me the caution came out on lap.
was on lap 3. So we went back green with about 45 to go, I believe.
Alright, so, but I thought you told me it was lap 8. So all of my data has been slightly wrong. But I'm still one to believe that 40 laps is probably the window of comfortness, and anything more than that is going to require saving. So I'm still actually going to say that our information is valid.
Yeah, 35 to 40 laps, I'd say. It's kind of the window you want to be in.
And you can stretch it, though, to 45 if you really back the pace down, and at that point, well, there's no point.
It's not worth it.
And at this structure, at this point in the race where it does stand, there's really no need. You would gain some extra tire. You'd gain some seconds on tires if you were to pit right now, for example, but you'd have to save, and well, by that point, you'd probably lose it because newer tires, we know sometimes those newer tires can't eliminate that gap. But Evan, the pit road here at Michigan, it's not one of the more difficult pit roads to get into. There is a lot of room. You can just pull straight off corner number 4, and the entry commitment cones don't start till a pretty good distance. And so pit entry isn't really that difficult, but we do have to go all the way around that apron in 1 and 2, underneath that yellow line to that blue commitment cone. Caution!
So everything we just said, just kind of throw that out the window.
Yeah, literally.
Looks like it was William Dunn in the grass in between 3 and 4 now.
That was a battle of the slow machines as Neil Froelich and the 43. I don't quite understand how that contact came to be a thing. Looks like Froelich was exiting the pits. He was to the inside. He has damage, but he was on fresher tires, and well, he drove straight up the track. About 3 lanes up the track, he slid up in 3, and well, Dunn was occupying that real estate, and he done spun. Really, again, I don't quite know what happened to the 17. He exited the pits, and he did drive up about 3 lanes there. I'm not sure if he thought that real estate was clear or... But regardless of whatever happened, as we said, green flag stops, what are those? They're not going to matter. We'll have caution pit stops right now. We'll take lap number 60 once they complete this coming lap. And it'll set it up so that fuel is no longer a concern and everyone will be good to the finish if that is the case. But it'll bunch everybody back up, and it'll make another caution a lot more likely to happen.
It's kind of getting to that point where it's going to be close for these guys on fuel.
I mean, we just said 45 laps was good, didn't we?
45 laps if you save.
But now it's going to be about 37. So
they should be good, but they're pitting with about 40 to go.
I think they'll still be. I don't think they'll have much buffer, but I do think they'll be fine. As who was that? Tyler Herr did not get in his pit box very well. Again, we have a couple I don't understand.
Herr just now got to his pit stall, so
we have 4 drive-throughs there.
I don't understand why people keep doing that. I don't know if they're missing their pit stall or if they're intentionally doing that.
Yeah, one person I would understand, but we do have Randy Fayash, we have Neil Froelich, we have Jay Heisman, Kent Wetherill, all just going straight through the pits. Again, maybe it's some kind of rule behind the scenes that we don't have explained to us, because I really can't find a purpose to it unless they just completely missed the stall and they couldn't see it. But having 4 people do that, it's kind of a very rare coincidence if that was the case.
Corey, we had about 48 laps from when we pitted to the end, 45 green.
Did you just pull up the stats?
Yeah. So 45 green flag laps, you can make it if you save. So 40 should be pretty safe.
Going full out, 40 laps should be you should be perfectly fine. And here they come. Here comes the 17. Here comes the 06.
Fash is staying out though.
Now he will be scored this lap as the leader. If he pits this next time by, he will be sent to the end of the field, which ultimately was where he was anyway, so assuming that he is going to pit and get, I think he did this last week, or a couple weeks ago rather, gets himself the bonus point, puts himself back into the back of the pack and carries on. But, well, if he does stay out, then, well, that's going to be interesting. We do know how long this run has been, so definitely would not make things easy.
So, Corey, do you think they're going to be able to go all the way to the end caution free, or do you think now that they're kind of bunched up and racing forward with going to be about 38 laps to go, do you think there's going to be a few more cautions?
Well, it's always, as you know, Evan, on these tracks like this where we have a lot of high speed and we have kind of single groove-esque racing, even though it is widening out typically, once they get to that about 5 to 8 lap mark in the run, there's enough of a spread out in the pack that usually it will go green. So it's really just, we're at mercy of these first, I'd say, 5 to 8 laps of the green flag run.
Yeah, the thing with a track like this and a track like Auto Club or something, there's a lot of lanes to run in, but there are very few lanes that you want to run in, because you can only really make passes in the second and third lane. So there's a lot of lanes above that and one below it, but you really can't run down there quickly.
Yeah, so just being able to be in that real estate while it is a place to run. If it's not quick, it may not have the grip you need, so it may actually throw you off. It might actually put you in a more precarious position. So,
and you're going to try your best to get out of that lane,
which may mean accidentally cutting the door off of somebody or chopping the nose or anything on those lines. But we're gonna get green flag racing in about half of a lap as we exit corner number 2. Well, de Blasio again up front, not much of a surprise to any account. We have the 83 of Alvarez to the outside, and we have Samuel Nieto and Joseph Tice occupying row 2. Rounding out the top 10 is Nick Tarbush in 5th, Jacob Fife in 6th, Don Stevenson, Caleb Eisenhower, Eric de Blasio, and Alan Pahari, your top 10.
Gonna have 38 laps to go. Everyone should be good on fuel to the end, but we'll see here as they come through 3 and 4 now. De Blasio, Alvarez, the front row. De Blasio taking the inside once again, as everyone has done except for Michael Duell. Took the outside for one restart here, but coming out of turn 4 now, waiting for the pace car to pull down onto pit road. And there it goes, now waiting on De Blasio. When's he going to go? Is he going to go early? It looks like he's going to go in the middle. There he goes. We're back underway, and Alvarez did not get going at all.
No, he did not. Tice will take the advantage of that. That 25 to the inside has some pretty good momentum. He's staying right with Adam de Blasio as we enter corner number 1. They will all dive off there, about 175 miles an hour. Jacob Fife trying to regain these spots. He's in 5th. Took a look to the outside of that 22. That was a unjust move. Didn't get it working in 1 and 2, but he's going to try to make it work on the entry of 3. Here he comes to the inside of the speedway. They're going to go door to door. He's going to sail it off in there into corner number 3. 22 will pinch him down. Try to keep that momentum built up for him on the outside, but Fife still digging down low on the inside. Nick Tarbush, he's going to have to pick one of these lanes to follow.
Nato has a little bit of a run down the front stretch. We'll keep that spot at the stripe. Going down into turn 1, we'll see if Fife can make that second lane work. He's starting to push up the track just a little bit. That's going to help him out, kind of pushing that 22 up as well. But Nato pinching him down there. Fife getting loose out of 2, still side by side, but Nato's got the run down the back. He might be able to clear him down into 3.
He's going to try, and up front, just a little bit further ahead of this, Alvarez will, remember he didn't have that good restart, but he will gain that spot back that he lost on Joseph Tice. Jacob Fife, as these names are flipping back and forth in my brain. He's still to the inside. This has been about 3 laps of side-by-side racing for this 4th and 5th position right now. You can see now they're moving up a little bit higher. The 22 not quite pinching Fife as much, but still pinching him enough that he's bogged down. I think the 22 will clear. Here comes Tarbush to the outside.
36 to 5 getting freight train down there in the second lane, but he might be able to clear that 4 here. He's cleared him for now, but Terry Bush might be able to get the run, and it's not going to have enough of a run to get to his outside or inside, so Jacob Fife now back to 5th.
As he is in that number 36, and up front, about 2 car lengths is the deficit to Alvarez, who's trying his best to stay with that number 48, and he is doing so for the time being, but just a matter of time before that 48 checks out. But maybe this is the time that these guys will be able to stay with him. We'll hope that is the case, as well. That 36 and the 4 there, duking at it again. This is for 5th as Fife is hanging on to 5th. Fife is back to the bumper of the 22 at Nieto while trying to deal with that number 4 at the same time.
Fife getting a good run out of 2. He's going to try and pull to the inside of NATO. Right on his quarter panel now, pulling underneath him down the front stretch. We'll see if he can make that second lane work. He wasn't able to before, but he got a pretty good run out of turn 4, now down into 1 and 2, and he's going to clear him. He's going to try and slide up in front of him. There he's sliding up in front of him and killing him with that 22, so that's going to allow him to hang on to the spot as NATO's still trying to get back by him, but not able to.
Yeah, he's right there on that back bumper, trying to get as close as he can and trying to stay with him, trying to maybe make him get a mistake. He's so close to the back bumper, nearly contact. There is, but he will drop back here as he wiggles a little bit off corner number 4. That'll cost him a couple miles an hour. Give that 36 a little bit of insurance for that 4th spot. And he will try to close in on the 25, who's trying to close in on the 83, who's trying to close in on your leader.
22 of NATO tried to get back underneath in there, took a little bit of a dive, but couldn't quite get to his inside, and that caused him to lose a little bit of time down the back stretch. Just couldn't get the run out of 2. So I'll be interested to see if Alvarez can hang with de Blasio. Right now he's hanging with him, actually maybe a little bit quicker than him, but I wonder if Alvarez is just using his tires just a little bit more than de Blasio is.
Yeah, we'll pull up the lap graphic here and see what we can find out from the last lap around the speedway. Fastest lap in the top 10 actually goes to Joseph Tice in the 25. He was in the 0.2 second bracket there. 48 with a 3 flat, and the slowest of the top 4 actually was Alvarez last time by.
So with Tice being the quickest car last time by, I wonder if he'll be able to get around Alvarez and then have anything to do with our leader, but right now he's not quite close enough to make a move on Alvarez, but he got a good run out of 4th. He's going to get closer here, but still not going to be able to pull to his inside or outside quite yet, but he might be able to out of 2. So go down into corners number 1 and 2 here. Ties up there in that 3rd lane, cutting down to just below the 1st seam there. And he got a pretty good run, but still not enough to make a move.
And this is that kind of track, where at this point in the run, you really have to feather the throttle, because if you're too hard on the throttle, you're going to loop that thing around. And it's really a driver discipline type thing, because you see that little bit of extra time that you need as the 83 scrapes the fence off of corner number 4. That may cost him some miles an hour. It looks like it will. 25 to look into the inside. Will they go door to door? Will he be able to take the spot? It looks like they will be in a battle for that spot. But you see, Evan, like, you want to press the throttle that little bit more. You think you just need that little bit of extra speed to clear, but you know if you do that, you're probably going to loop that thing around.
Yeah, as they're side by side for 2nd. I know Ty's just being down on that bottom lane. He's trying his best to get full power down, but it is just so hard, especially when you're down on the bottom, got all that wheel in it, you have someone on your outside. It's just really tough to get the power down, as Alvarez got the better run there out of 4, but still, Ty's is doing a really nice job down there in that 2nd lane on the inside of Alvarez. We'll see here through 1 and 2 if he can keep that up, as Alvarez driving in really deep up there in that 4th lane. I don't know if that's going to work for him. Looks like it will.
And the person who loves this more than anybody, well, that's that number 48 machine, as he's taking this as an opportunity to pull out by about 0.6 of a second. You can see the gap there physically as they enter corner number 3 and 4. Alvarez will be in position number 2. We'll see what he can do with it, as Fife will put that number 25 on his radar. Race is starting to have that green flag vibe to it as we just slowly work through the field here and show you guys all the racing going on. It is starting to single out, Evan. So that gives us 27 laps to go, which can go by pretty quickly here at Michigan. About 15 minutes of action left. So if we don't have a caution, these guys are going to still have to work these cars for quite a long run to the checkers.
Yeah, it's going to be a case of who saved their tires the best, which I know right now it's like Alvarez is kind of starting to close back in on de Blasio. He was about over a tenth quicker last time by. So I wonder if de Blasio's tires are kind of starting to fall off a little bit here.
William Dunn in the 43 to the inside. You could see the heavy damage to him after he was in an earlier caution. He's out of the way, but getting back to your point, Evan, that he was 1.5 tenths faster last time by, and it's still early enough in the run. I'm not sure if that is a good thing yet. He may be pushing a little too hard. Maybe the 83 is already, well, the 48 rather, has pushed and burnt up his stuff. I guess we'll have to just wait a little bit farther to find out. But at the stripe this time by, 0.5 tenth in the favor of the 83.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who is using their tires more, like you said, Corey. If it is that 83, or if de Blasio has burned his tires up and is starting to fall off here.
Usually at this point in the run, where we're about 15 laps in, the guy who burnt them up would start to feel those ill effects, and you'll kind of get the idea of who's going to be in the better position. So this is really going to be the time to watch what that gap does, if it expands or if it contracts, and that will give us the answer to who's running better. We'll pull up the battle tracker first to second.
Another 0.5 tenth or so.
Yep, a 40.53 to a 40.49, so 4 100ths brings it down to exactly 3 tenths of a second.
See here in 3 and 4 if that 83 of Alvarez can kind of gain some more time. You see him driving in deeper there, stay up a little bit higher through 3 and 4, see if he can get that run on corner exit. And we'll see who is quicker here at the line. Looks like it might have been de Blasio a little bit faster. We'll see. Actually, Alvarez by 100th.
Yep, so it's not as much as... He's not gaining at the rate he was gaining before, but he still is in the positive direction. As the 4 machine trying to close in on Nieto. That is the closest battle on the track. Nieto did not have as good of a run tire, but running a higher line on corner exit, pulls him in at the end of the straightaway. He dives it on in there onto the binders in 3, gets to the back bumper. See who gets the better run on corner exit, whether the 22 or the 4.
So it's going to be Terbush by just a little bit, not too much of a difference there, but he is gaining a little bit down the front stretch.
Yeah, not enough to make a move, but he was definitely gaining. As we go further back through the field, finding some battles on the speedway, we go back to Caleb Eisenhower and Eric de Blasio, Brandon Kirkman, that's just outside of the top 10. That's 10th, 11th, and 12th. Tom Wetmore try to tag on to the end of this battle. But I'm going to skip this actually and go up front, Evan, because it was 3 tenths of a second. It's now 2 tenths of a second. Oh, actually, it was at one point, and oh, it's going right back there. Looks like that 83 really is consistently running better times.
Another 300s there in the favor of Alvarez. 2.5 tenths at the line. And you can see here, de Blasio, he's kind of starting to run the same lane as Alvarez. You can see him kind of starting to move up the track, so he's watching in his mirror, just trying to run the same line as him. Try and take that line away and maybe try and gain some speed himself.
It is a nerve-wracking experience when you do see your competitors running other lines than you and watching them run faster, because you know what you're doing and you're comfortable doing that. But if you see someone else doing something different, it takes a couple laps to get acclimated to a new line. And when you're trying to hang on to a thin lead, you really don't have that wiggle room to acclimate yourself to that line. You just have to hope that you can just get it right the first time.
Which, 1,000th quicker in the favor of Alvarez there, so I wonder if de Blasio kind of running that line might have picked some speed up for him.
That, or maybe he just took that little bit of arrow off the front of the 83 and threw off his handling or threw off his reference points, or could have been any of those things, but you could see the line difference there. The 83 is out there just outside of the dark groove. The leader de Blasio right in the thick of it. And off of 4, looks like the advantage actually will go to Alvarez. I'm sorry, it'll go to de Blasio. Pulls the lead out by a couple hundredths.
Yeah, 20 laps to go, and last time by, de Blasio quicker by half a tenth. So I wonder if Alvarez might have just made a mistake there, lost some time as he's starting to kind of close back in just a little bit. We'll see what the stopwatch says here through 3 and once we get back to the front stretch, they go through 3 and 4 now.
You can see here as we're on board with the 83, he drove it in deeper, running just a couple feet higher that last time by. Doesn't look like he got as good of a corner exit there. I think that inside groove in 3 and 4 definitely favored the 48, so he'll lose about half a tenth, but he does get it back at the end of the straightaway, just a couple tenths, just a couple hundredths of it. 1 and 2, the 48 really working that upper groove there. He's copying, as you said, Evan, what the 83 did. And I think that definitely worked in the favor of Alvarez because, well, he's already run that groove. He's not having to get used to it.
Looks like the times have kind of evened out between those top two, so it's pretty much, if de Blasio makes a mistake, Alvarez is going to be right there to pounce on it, as well as Joseph Tice, who is hanging right in there and running pretty much the exact same times as the two cars in front of him.
And you figure it's going to take one mistake for de Blasio to have quite the battle on his hands, and it'll take one mistake for that 83 to essentially take himself out of competition and drop back. So he's really, I think more pressure at this point is actually on the 83 to run perfect laps and keep the pressure on de Blasio. Because de Blasio, worst case, if he gets a little bit loose, he might be able to fight back for second. Worst case, if that 83 has a little bit of a bobble, he's going to be at an insurmountable deficit.
Looks like it stayed pretty even there, at least here 3 and 4. We'll see lap time wise and about 100th once again, but Joseph Tice was quicker than all of them, not by much, but he was a little bit quicker.
And that 25, there's nothing he can really do. He's at a point where if he battles with Alvarez, which he's going to want to, he's going to want that second position, they're going to pretty much give the win away because that battling is going to let de Blasio pull further ahead. So I can't imagine there being any kind of sportsmanship. I mean, at the very least, maybe a little bit of a bump draft to try to get them both a little bit closer.
Oh, de Blasio got the wall there out of 4, but I don't think it hurt his momentum at all. He still ran quicker than both the guys behind him, but he got the wall.
Well, that's how you know you're doing something right, is you hit the wall and you still gain on your lead. It's just, it's really incredible how identical the lap times are in the top 3. All 3 of them are in the 40.9 second bracket. You can see here on the chart. Everybody else in the field about 1.5 2 tenths slower in the 41 second bracket. So we'll leave this up here for when they cross the stripe this time by. It does look visually, and actually it is showing on the intervals as well, that Alvarez is starting to lose on the stopwatch here. 40.94 to a 40.07, so nearly 2 tenths slower. And then you have Joseph Tice about 2 tenths off of the pace of the 48, so it could have been a fluke lap, or might be a trend setting the 48 off in the distance.
Yeah, he's already got the lead up to about a half second now, so looks like it's going to be pretty easy for de Blasio to get this win unless he makes a mistake, as Alvarez up there in the 3rd lane. That's going to allow Tice to maybe get his inside here out of 4 and down the front stretch. So I wonder if Tice can get by Alvarez. If he can, he was running a little bit quicker than de Blasio there some, and last time by he was a little bit quicker than de Blasio, so he might be able to do something with him.
Yeah, but he has to be able to get by, and we know how difficult it is They cannot run side by side, either of these drivers, if they want any chance. There is 14 to go. Now they're about a half second back. Tice will not have the position. He's going to sail it off into 3. 83 of Alvarez will try to run that extremely high groove and keep that momentum wound up. I think he's going to do just that, but he won't be able to hold it in on corner exit. He'll lose a little bit of time, but the 25 not able to take advantage now. These drivers are a half second off the pace.
Alvarez only lost about 4 thousandths there from battling with Joseph Tice. He only lost 4 thousandths to de Blasio, so it's not hurting that 83 too much, but it is hurting Tice. But you got to run once again out of 2 and take another look underneath him.
Yeah, wiggle there from the 83 on corner exit. Those are the moves it's going to take if he does want to not be able to fall back to 3rd, but he is going to fall to 3rd, or at least Joseph Tice is trying to allow that to happen. Again, while they do this, they continuously lose time to Adam de Blasio. Now it's pushing 0.6 of a second side by side for second. Tice trying to side draft, trying to get whatever advantage he can, but 83 able to run that outside groove.
Tice is going to clear him here.
Will he shut the door?
Not going to be able to because he got loose there. That's going to give the spot back to Alvarez. That's what's really going to kill him if they keep doing that.
Yeah, I think the dagger has pretty much been thrown out there at this point. Is behind them some intense battling. They're 2 by 2 for about 5th to 7th. We have Nato to the top, we have Fife to the bottom, we have Tarabush, and we have her 2 by 2. This is, as I said, 4th to 7th right now. Her will drop off the back of the pack as Tarabush will clear. Tarabush actually does not clear. He's to the outside, trying to go 2 for 1 to the outside of Jacob Fife. I'm getting all my names screwed up here. Is into the wall is Tarabush. That's going to allow the 22 of Nato to pull ahead as Fife with a wiggle. Tarabush into the wall again. Tarabush into the wall 3rd time.
He does manage to keep it straight there. We're just going to lose 2 spots to Fife and her. So that's definitely not what Nick Tarabush wanted there, but they are still side by side for 2nd. Back up there with Tice once again on the inside lane. So this is really starting to kill them.
Yeah, it is. This is pretty much going to be their battle for the remainder of this race. The win is, well, it's going to take a mistake or a quick caution. The iRacing cutoff lap will be about 6 to go. Shut the door is that 25. 83 touches the fence there off of corner number 2. So now Joseph Tice will have 9 laps to go, 9/10 of a second. That's going to be quite the feat. One to not really expect, but we'll definitely give him hopes in that endeavor.
I'm going to go on a limb. I'm going to say he's going to get there. He's going to get to de Blasio.
Well, we're going to have to keep an eye on the stopwatch, and last time by, we can't really take too much merit in that lap because he was battling. But we'll see. We've seen a couple times, Evan, remember the situation where sometimes it's actually easier to run in 2nd than it is to lead. Will Alvarez drop off the back of the 25, or will the 25 be able to pull off into the distance and try to close on the leader? Looks like the 83 kind of wiggled and slid off of 4. And it does.
Let's see. Tice is 10.5 quicker last time by, so if he can keep it up, he's going to get there.
Yeah, what, did the 48 make a mistake, or is that 25 just naturally faster? Don't count your chickens early, because this is not over yet. There's mathematically enough time, as Evan said, if the 25 can keep up this pace, or if the 48 can't run any faster. Pull up the lap tracker again and give you guys a representation once they hit the stripe. It'll be 7 to go. Doesn't look like on the live intervals right now that 25 got through 3 and 4 very well. See, actually 1/100th to the benefit of the 48. I think it's going to take a mistake on that 48's part to give this race up.
Which we've seen him get into the wall, but even when he got the wall, it didn't hurt him too much. So there definitely is a chance for him to make a mistake, but It's going to be very hard for Tice to get up there now.
Yeah, that's going to take perfect laps from second or a mistake from first, or perhaps a combination of the two. We'll just leave this up long enough to show what happens across the stripe this time by.
He was a couple hundreds quicker, was Tice, but
that's not going to do it.
At that rate, he's not going to get there, like you said.
It's going to take a significant chunk. It's going to take about a 10th a lap for anything radical to affect the end result of this race. And, well, it looks like he got about a 10th there through 1 and 2.
Looks like he might have lost it on the exit, though.
Yeah, I think he drove it in.
Lost a little bit of it.
Drove it in deep and lost it on the exit of the corners. Which is, it seems like the easiest way to gain time is to just drive it deeper in the corners, but it's all about that momentum down the long straightaways. It's not necessarily about just closing in on corner entry. It seems they're about even at the stripe this time by just about, only 1/100th separating them. So again, it's going to take a radical mistake from that number 48, and well, from what we've seen all season, it's hard to believe that's going to happen.
4.5 laps to go now for Adam de Blasio. He's going to have to hold off Joseph Tice here, but I really don't know if he's going to get there now. It kind of looked earlier on a little bit pretty promising for Tice to get there, but now I don't know if de Blasio just made a few mistakes on those laps before, or if he's starting to pick up the pace.
He did lose some time that last lap. The gap ran nearly 2 tenths faster, so that 48, it's just now a half second. It's at about a 1/10 of a second a lap deficit. So
you got a good run out of 2 there.
Well, hey,
it's down to under 4 tenths.
To quote Chris Daughtry, it's not over. 25's trying to do it right this time around and close in a little bit further. He's now within 4/10 of a second. We're coming to 3 laps to go. He's within 3/10 of a second here. This is going to come down to the final lap. Is that 25 going to be able to dig deep and get that last little bit of deficit?
It's going to be hard for him to get there, and even harder to get by him. But you can just see how much time he gained there entering the corner, and he's just able to hold on to it.
Look at him go! Look at him go on exit! 25 is able to run lower, get on the power. Now he's within 2/10 of a second. A little bit of traffic ahead. I think that guy should get out of the way, we'd assume. Through 3 and 4. Nice smooth exit here. Looks like the 48 may have got on the power a little bit smoother, a little bit of a wiggle from Tice, but it thinks like they draw even blood there off of 4. 2 laps to go.
2 laps to go for de Blasio, who's going to have to hold off Joseph Tice. Another 10th in the favor of that 25. Going through 1 and 2 now. Tice trying a bit of a different line, run a little bit higher. Actually, I think it helped out de Blasio a little bit.
But we'll see what happens on exit.
Yeah, we'll see if he can get that run. He got the run.
Tice had a little bit of a wiggle that may have cost a little bit of momentum, but he's still within 2/10 of a second. It is within a gap that is achievable in one more time around this Michigan Speedway. We come through corners number 3 and 4. The gap's about 2/10 of a second. It's going to take a perfect lap, and it's going to take a little bit of a mistake, but will it happen here? White flag in the air.
Adam de Blasio just has to be perfect for 4 more corners here, 2 more miles as they go down into turn 1 and 2. Tice trying to really high line there, just trying to get a run out of 2 and down the backstretch. I don't think it's going to work for him. It's going to be close. Tice getting loose. I think that's going to give it to de Blasio.
Yeah, I think he just went for that last-ditch effort. He did not want to give it a chance in 3. He was trying to get that run, and, well, it didn't work. He gained some time. He made it interesting, but at the end of the day, it's Money Man. It's Mr. 2018. He's going to go in double digits and get his 10th win of the Integrity Racing season. Adam de Blasio wins at Michigan.
Joseph Tice coming home 2nd, and Guillermo Alvarez in 3rd.
Again, congrats go to de Blasio, getting in double digits, his 10th win in 23 races. Got to give a hand to Joseph Tice. He gave it everything he had. He gave it the kitchen sink, and, well, he was just a little bit short there. Just, it's hard to beat the best, and sometimes you have to take a second and be proud of it. I'd be proud of it if I was that 25, but We'll take a brief break here, and we should have a couple people to talk to for a post-race show, so again, stay with us.
When I was 16 years old, I was working in a Goodyear tire store, and my boss actually built an old dirt car, street stock Monte Carlo. Went with him one night, fell in love with it. It was a hell of a race, hell of a party, and a big fight afterwards. I was like, this is it. This is it for me. It wasn't long after that, I was driving an old 78 Camaro out of the weeds at that guy's farm. We pulled that thing out and made a race car out of it, and away we went. You know, I think a driver has more to do with the equation going back and racing dirt, whether it's a modified, a late model. You can do more with the race car. You know, the harder you drive it, a lot of times, the better it goes. You can crawl up on that wheel and feel like you made the difference at the end of the night. Asphalt car, you can't overdrive them. That was the first thing that I had to learn right off the bat is, oh my gosh, I've got to discipline myself, not overdrive this thing, and that's how you get the most out of it. Truth be told, communicating the right information to your crew and your crew chief so they can do their job and make their appropriate adjustments for you to go faster and do your job is probably 90% of the game in our world. I've always loved late models. You know, my dream was to be a late model driver driving for a living across the country like Daryl and Don do that drive for me. I mean, that was, truth be told, that was my dream, you know. I always wanted a semi. I always wanted a stacker trailer with 2 hot rods in it and let's go racing. Let's take off with your buddies and go race and chase that dream. Never in a million years did I think it would turn into a Cup Series, and I actually have an opportunity to own 2 you know, dirt late model teams. When you think of iRacing, you don't think of a video game. It's not. It's way above and beyond any of that. You know, dirt racing changes so much. The track changes so much. Being able to capture that, to you know, experience all those details that surround dirt racing and make dirt racing what it is what makes iRacing so cool, because they did nail all of that. I knew when they came to our shop and scanned cars and went to the detail of getting that car right, I knew that it was going to be over the top, because it blew my mind just the work that went into making sure the car itself was legit. This sport has been around a long time. The competition can't be replaced, and that's what brings people back to the racetrack week in and week out.
And we're back here on PTRTV on LSRTV, giving you the post-race show after the Michigan 200 for the Integrity Racing League. And before we start interviews, we're going to just give you the final results here from Michigan. Well, to nobody's surprise, is Adam de Blasio winning by leading 91 out of 100 laps, and the only laps he did not lead were because of pit cycles on caution flags. So Joseph Tice with a hard-fought second, nearly got there at the very end. Guillermo Alvarez in third, Samuel Nato in fourth, Nick Terrabush in fifth, Jason Miller in sixth, Eric de Blasio in seventh, Brandon Kirkman in eighth, and we have Michael Duell and Renato Postigio running out your top 10.
Coming home in 11th, we have Jacob Fife, Lee Pierce in 12th, Neil Froelich in 13th, Tom Wetmore 14th, Randy Fayash 15th, and the rest of the top 20. We have Kent Weatherall, Jay Heisman, Caleb Eisenhower, Alan Pari, and Tyler Herr in 20th.
And rounding out the field tonight, we have Cody Smith in 21st, Alan Roll in 22nd, William Dunn in 23rd, we have Don Stevenson in 24th, Bruce Ackerman 25th, Carson Bechtel and Todd Thomas out of the race early, 26th and 27th. Now, we didn't have any interviews for you last week because, well, nobody came into the booth. They used Discord on their end for integrity. We broadcast using TeamSpeak, so they usually come over and talk to us after the race. It didn't happen last week, and as we stall here and twiddle our thumbs, it's so far not looking to happen this week, but we'll try to stall for a couple extra minutes and give them the opportunity. So while that happens, just give a quick shout out to our channel sponsors here on the PTRTV side of things. We have Air Movement and Fabrications, long-time company, well, sponsor with the channel. Family-run business, established 2012. They specialize in ventilation, ducting, repairs, and a whole bunch of other things. So if you are in the UK area across the pond, I'll give them a check out, and I'll check out their Facebook. Croots Custom Graphics, custom racing shirts, hero cards, paint schemes, and much more. From local racers to big race teams, he's got your back. Croots Custom Graphics is always P1. We have iBog iRacing Broadcast Overlay Graphics. If you are in the broadcast business or you're looking to get into it or just want some overlays for your own benefits, you can check Jason Allison's work out at ibog.co. He will get you started and give you a good deal on whatever kind of graphics or overlays that you are looking for. I want to thank everybody on LSRTV for letting us provide our content here on the channel, and thank everybody who has supported PTRTV over the years. We know we are shutting down at the end of the season for the broadcast side of things, and we'll be headed into different ventures. You can check out our podcast on our channel with kind of a little bit of a glimpse into our future, so you check that out on the Primetime Racing TV channel. But I think I've stalled about as long as I realistically can. Unfortunately, we will not have interviews for you tonight. Apologies for that. But again, this was coverage of the Integrity Racing League. Stay tuned till tomorrow night when on PTRTV on LSRTV. It'll be the Sam Maxwell Customs ASRS Truck Series from the Bristol Motor Speedway. So stay tuned for that. And then, of course, Mondays and Tuesdays every week, we'll be right here bringing you the calls. So it's Corey Silva and Evan Black signing out of tonight's booth. So have a great night, everyone, and we'll catch you next time.
Have a good night, and we'll see you tomorrow.